Hello everyone and welcome to Community Connections. I'm Emma Jean Woodyard, the director of the Dearborn Community Fund, and we're the ones that bring Community Connections to you. We talk about the arts, we talk about things that are going on in the city, events, happenings, interesting people, and we're so glad when you can join us to learn more about all the terrific things that we have here in our hometown of Dearborn. And I am so pleased today to have with me as the first guest on this edition of Community Connections, someone I have known since, I don't even know how long. I mean, I remember him when, and his name is Kevin Dewey. We know him as the Music Man because he brings so much music into our lives. I know you're getting ready to retire from your position at Henry Ford
I'm already
College.
tired.
You're
now
already
I have to retire.
tired. Tell us about some of the highlights of your experience over the years, because Kevin, I have to say I've known you for a long time.
Since I was this
yeah,
tall.
well, maybe a little taller, but yeah, I do remember you, and I've watched you.
I've known you since you were about this tall.
Yeah, maybe this wide, but that will be another matter. What are the highlights that you remember, going way back, and what brought you to where you are?
Well, funny we should be on this topic of arts education, but when I went to Lindbergh Elementary School, where my children are going now, we had general music, we had art class, we had and I still remember my band, the orchestra director at Lindbergh, Mr. Walter Boyko.
Oh, I remember
Yes.
Mr. Boyko.
Yeah. And then in junior high, I went to Adams Junior High. The building is still there, hardly recognizable except for from the front. But and I remember all my art. It's not just music with me. I remember my art teachers. I remember some of my best science teachers and math and English teachers. I remember most of my teachers. I felt like we had great teachers growing up. Even as an adult and as a retiring educator, looking back at the teachers I had, they were teachers that really knew what they were doing. They were not only trained in being teachers, but they were really experienced in their fields, which was really cool. That's a cool thing. Like my high school band director was Tony Russo, who was a trained music educator, but he was a professional musician, and he played and conducted in the theaters and in the parks in the summer. He did everything. He was a professional musician, and so that was great that he that he brought that to his teaching. So I feel like I was really blessed with excellent teachers all the way growing up. All of my accumulated experiences in Lindbergh Elementary, Adams Junior High, and Dearborn High School, that's like one big, huge ball of greatness that I recall fondly. When I went to Wayne State, it was the same thing. I felt like I had the best directors, the best teachers, the best professionals teaching. So those were those things. Now, as far as highlights in my own personal life, my own personal musical life, there's a few. One would be Rise Up and Sing, the church choir that I did at Cherry Hill Presbyterian Church.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because again, as we were jokingly saying, I've known you for a long time, that one really stood out to me, and the enthusiasm and the passion of the people who belonged to that group with you. I think you took them on a trip somewhere. Was it West Virginia? Yeah.
Rise Up and Sing evolved out of what was the chapel choir at Cherry Hill Presbyterian Church, which was a high school church choir that sang the early service, the 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and then later 9 a.m. service every Sunday. So they were fully a church choir as high schoolers. We expanded it to include college age. This was under Jim Russell, who was the youth minister at Cherry Hill at the time. He's the one who sort of spurred me on and spurred the group on and started adding extra things. But they already had a tradition from Ken Hansen's time of taking a trip once a year with the youth choir and having a choir exchange with another choir from another Presbyterian church in some other state. Or we went to Toronto once. But so we took trips with Rise Up and Sing almost every year. I was there, I think, 13 years. So there were a lot of trips, actually.
I wasn't aware of that. The extent of it. It was probably when we entered the scene, and I started to pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay more attention to what was going on.
Yeah.
I know that the kinds of music that you've brought to the audiences over the years varies too.
Yeah.
All the way from Renaissance Voices, which is more formal, I would say, more formal music, to what are some of the other groups that you've headed up over the years?
Well, there was Rise Up and Sing, which was a church choir, but as a church choir, they sang a lot of different styles. They sang traditional, at the time what was considered traditional classical and church music, but also the more modern things. At the time, the top contemporary Christian performers like Amy Grant and the Imperials. But then I've been at Henry Ford Community College for 28 and a half years, and there I conduct a chorus, and the school chorus there, the HFC chorus, they sing everything from true Renaissance and classical music right up into modern pieces, but also jazz, gospel, Broadway musical styles. That's the group that I love so much because they do so many different styles.
I want to talk very briefly, Kevin. I know you're retiring, but that doesn't mean you're going to go away. Music will never leave you. I know that. What do you see your involvement in the future? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, sure. My retirement is from Henry Ford Community College this summer, and so in the fall I'll be teaching nothing at Henry Ford Community College, not even as an adjunct, because the retirement system requires me to not work at a retirement system place for 9 months. So a year from fall, might I be teaching a class at the college or at some other college as an adjunct faculty? That's possible, but I will have a year where I'll be doing none of that at all. I will still continue to work for the City of Dearborn Recreation Department.
Yeah, we should explain that in addition to your responsibilities at Henry Ford College, you are also involved with Dearborn Recreation through our cultural arts programs. And of course, as someone who works in that division of recreation, I'm always monitoring and watching to make sure that we keep things going.
Keep the arts in recreation as well, yes.
Well, I have this whole theory, I keep saying recreation means to recreate.
Right.
That's the Greek definition. And what does recreate mean? Mind, body, soul. And that can be balls and bats, that can be painting a picture, that can be singing, that can be. So, yeah, they're tired of hearing me say this, but I really passionately
Well, also
believe in
personnel changes over, and people like you and me have been here a long time.
True.
We've seen a lot of different mayors and a lot of different city council people, and so it's okay. We got to keep giving that message out there.
Keep singing the song.
Keep singing the song. That's
singing
right.
The song.
Yeah, and so for the City of Dearborn, I've done a variety of things over the years, but I've conducted Vanguard Voices for over 30 years, and I've conducted the Dearborn Summer Chorus for I don't even know how many years, because in the early days, I sort of traded off with other conductors, and I've been doing it only just me for the last, I don't know, 20, 25,
At least
30,
since we've been in this theater.
Facility, that's
yes,
right. It's
facility,
been at least that,
so that's 20, coming up on 22 years.
And both of those groups are groups that I love dearly for different reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I know you're not going anywhere. Thank you very much for that. We always enjoy working with you, watching what you're doing. And the one other thing I would say about you, Kevin, is that you have always been very generous with your time and your talent. When you're asked, you always try to make it happen, and we appreciate that so much. Youth Arts Festival, where we work with the schools, and Lisa Meyer and you and are part of the planning team for that. None of that needs to go away. Just saying right here. Okay. So, Kevin, thank you. I know this is a very busy time for you, but we wish you Godspeed, good luck, and we'll see you here.
Thanks, Imogene.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure being
Thank
with
you.
you today.
We'll be right back with more Community Connections, and our Sasha Corder Gallery Coordinator's got some special guests lined up to talk about what's coming up next at the Padzieski Gallery. So stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone, to this episode of Community Connections. We're here in the Padzieski Gallery getting ready for our next exhibit. It's called Expanding Orbits, and it's in partnership with the STEP program, Services to Enhance Potential, along with the Progressive Art Studio Collective. I have one of the curators with me, Evan Condren, and he's going to talk a little bit about the program with us, what they do, and how to get involved with what they're doing. Evan, can you tell us a little bit about the Progressive Art Studio Collective?
Yeah, so Progressive Art Studio Collective is an art studio that is dedicated to serving adults with disabilities in the Metro Detroit area. We're one of many progressive art studios across the country, but ours was started in January of 2021.
Perfect. And do you find a big need for that?
Yeah.
Do you find that, you know, some of the programming locally or even regionally is lacking and that you have a big interest in it?
I personally feel that way, yeah. I think there's the disability community and just non-academic art in general kind of gets left to the side sometimes. So I think our studio and our program is really important to bringing that to a wider audience.
Yeah, and I love shows like this. I love really giving an accessible platform to people who may or may not have the opportunity to see their stuff on walls and gallery spaces, because I think that's really vital for confidence and professional development and the things that I think your goals are within this group. Now, what kind of resources within the group, taking classes with you guys, do you guys offer?
So that's one of my favorite things about our program is it's actually not like an art class format. It's all participant driven. So all of the artists show up at the studio to kind of work on and pursue whatever creative craft they want to. And art advisors are there, professionally trained artists, to kind of advise them, give them material suggestions. But there's no classes, there's no strict instruction, there's no like, here's how you make this thing.
Okay.
This is all coming directly from the individuals and their own creativity.
That's awesome. That's really amazing. During their studio time, you know, what might a typical day look like?
Typically, most of our artists, we serve around 150, if not more artists at the moment. We're always adding.
Wow.
But typically, most of our artists work 2 to 3 days a week in the studio. They'll come in for about 6 hours. They all have their own supplies that's kind of tailored to their needs, so they'll grab their supplies, work on their pieces. There's an arts advisor and a skills trainer in the room, so we can walk the room, give advice, help with anything that people might need. It's really just whatever their creative process is, it's engaging in that. So we have people who do sculpture, we have people who do painting, some people are just interested in drawing, so it's kind of all over the place.
Perfect. And so within this group of artists that's in the gallery right now, I know the theme was kind of coincidental, happy accidents,
Yes.
phenomena within that art. What were your goals in selecting these pieces for us to display?
In selecting this work, we really wanted to focus on working with artists who haven't been shown as often, to kind of give them the opportunity. You mentioned confidence earlier, so that builds a lot of confidence in our artists. But we also started, as we were looking at the work, to see all these like different relationships that were happening where the artists were influencing each other,
Yeah.
and we hadn't realized it until like kind of putting it all together. So it was very interesting to just see like all the connections that artists were making without it being forced in any sort of way.
Yeah, I really think that collective mentality and that collective workspace really, I mean, pushes everybody when you have that bouncing board to really like pull off of each other, whether it be by color or by technique or format, even down to the basics of shape. You know, oh, I see that, you know, my friend is working in a lot of circular objects, and maybe I want to try working in that. I think that's really valuable to any artist in our community.
Definitely.
Do you guys do a lot of exhibits throughout the region outside of the collective?
Yeah, we focus on exhibiting artists' work. We really focus on selling their work to make them some money as well. So our artists get 60% of the proceeds, and then the other 40 just goes back into supplies and sustaining the program. But we've been working a lot to kind of spread their artwork all over. So we're working with community galleries. Right now we've got an exhibition in the Belt in Detroit in partnership with Library Street Collective. That one will close July 1st, and then our next exhibition, every portrait painted is a portrait of the artist. will open on July 8th in the Belt as well. So
Oh, that's
we're
amazing.
kind of trying to spread as much as we can around the Metro Detroit
Nice.
community and engage with as many people as we can.
So if somebody has available gallery space or they want to contribute to the success of this program,
Yes.
what would you kind of suggest for them to reach out, or is there a particular process for that?
I would honestly just reach out to Progressive Art Studio Collective. Our website is progressiveartstudiocollective.org. That's a great way to get in contact with us. Our Southgate Studio and Gallery is actually also open to the public.
Okay.
So you can come in on a Thursday or Friday between 10 and 2. You can see the exhibitions that are up in the space and also meet some of the artists.
Awesome.
So that'd be a great way to get to know us.
Yeah. So where are your other locations? Because you have a couple, right?
Yeah, we've got 3 studios right now. We've got one located in Detroit, one in Westland, and one in Southgate. And we are currently raising money for our 4th location, which is another more inclusive space in the city of Detroit. So that'll be a shared space between just the general public and our artists as well.
So you can serve a wide range of audience here. I mean, you're
Yes.
really running like all of Metro Detroit.
Absolutely.
For everybody to kind of get involved in an easy location that makes it really accessible for families and caregivers and things like that to get them to the studio and back home in a very not expansive or stressful situation, which is really
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. I like that all the studios are like just close enough to each other. They're all about 20 or 30 minutes apart, but that gives people in the region, you don't have to travel more than 20 or 30 minutes to get to a studio to make artwork. So trying to keep it super accessible is always the goal.
So I know you guys have several different instructors and several different curators on this particular exhibit. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about how the 3 of you kind of work together to formulate this?
Yeah, sure. Myself, Eleni Zaropoulos and Renee Willoughby, the other 2 curators, work together. We kind of just over the course of a few months collaborated, started looking at artwork and seeing what themes might have emerged. So like I said earlier, when we're talking about like putting all the work out together, we just started to see relationships between the artwork happening, and it kind of came together very naturally.
Perfect. Now, what kind of experience level do these artists have when they come in? Is there any kind of like recommended starting point for them, or is this for everybody just to kind of find their start point and progress off of that?
It's really wherever you start at is where we'll meet you, I guess. A lot of our artists have 0 artistic background, but they come in and really develop a strong practice. Some of our artists have been to art school. They've really engaged with art their whole life. So it really depends on the individual, but whatever level you come in at is where we're going to meet
That's
you.
amazing that you guys are super flexible with that skill level
Yes.
and that prior knowledge to art. I think, really stressing that art is recreation is one of our focuses here in the gallery.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate your guys' focus in your studio gallery, that mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, to be a well-rounded individual and just be happy and passionate in life. You don't necessarily have to have the goal of being a professional artist or making money off of this. It's an added bonus, but that it really is just like a natural passion for the artist.
Yeah, that's what I find with all of our artists, is that they're just like naturally interested in making work, and we're giving them an avenue to build a career in that, but it just really is like their passion, so we have to give them space to pursue that.
That's amazing. So, I mean, this whole partnership with the Padzieski Gallery, Ford Community Performing Arts Center, and the Dearborn Recreation Department. The Dearborn Recreation actually has a specials arts and recreation enabling program. They do some art workshops, we have dances, we have bowling, we have swim nights. But I think your program is very valuable to really take the people who are interested in those art workshops to the next step. So we really hope to kind of build this partnership and kind of share students and share ideas and just share just kind of this world that we live in and that we're passionate about, and giving opportunities to people who don't typically get them. Which I think is really valuable to where we're at in the world. I think we really have to look at like just the individual basics of what makes humans happy.
Yes.
And just try to live in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, like you said, all about connecting the different communities together and bringing everyone together to see this awesome artwork.
Yeah, no, we're super
Totally.
excited that it's here, that it's on display. It goes until July 22nd, so you have plenty of time to get in here, check out the work during our normal gallery hours, Wednesday through Saturday. You can check on those hours at our website, padzieskigallery.org. You can also refer to their website as far as getting signed up. If this is something you're interested in or know somebody who may be interested in, check out their website because their program is expansive and it sounds like they have something for everybody. So
Yes.
if you could repeat the website.
Yeah, our website is progressiveartstudiocollective.org. We're also a part of Services to Enhance Potential. They're a much older overarching organization for adults with disabilities in the area. So even if you're not interested in art, that's a great place to touch base and maybe find a space for yourself.
Yeah. And are you guys in need of volunteers or any other outside interests, people who are just really excited about your project and want to be involved?
Right now, we are unable to take volunteers, but we are always just looking for more people to support our program, come to our exhibitions, talk to our artists. We've been doing a lot of art fairs, so just come out, join our community, and be a part of the artwork that we're sharing.
Yeah, and if you have any ability to give, they are doing a fundraiser for their 4th location, so I'm sure you can find that information on their website.
Absolutely.
Their social medias, I know I've seen some Instagram posts about it, so definitely check that out. And if you do have any ability to give or at least share with somebody, I think that would be really appreciated and really forceful in the expansion of their program.
Yeah, absolutely. Every dollar helps, and even if you don't want to directly contribute money, we do have a wish list for art supplies for our artists as well that you can contribute to.
Perfect. I know I love picking out art supplies.
Yes,
so
yeah, it's so fun.
It's
so
like the
fun.
fun way to donate.
And we can get our special little extra supplies, so we always love that. Yeah.
Well, Evan, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about your program and about the work on the walls and what you guys do in the Progressive Art Studio Collective. I'm really excited about this exhibit. I'm really excited to get to meet some of the artists tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
And get to talk to them about their work and their practice and their passions.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're so excited to be here in Dearborn at the Padzieski Gallery.
Oh, perfect.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Great guest today, Kevin Dewey, our friends from our STEP program, talking about the wonderful exhibit that's coming to the Padzieski Gallery, learning more about our special needs community. Always so much going on in Dearborn. So with that, we're going to say see you soon on another program, but for right now, enjoy the arts, get out, and see what beautiful things surround you in Dearborn. Have a great one, everybody.